What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my Draftkings MMA picks for UFC Vegas 7. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Draftkings MMA picks video. This time we are breaking down UFC Vegas 7, and it's not the best looking card by any means, especially on paper. It's not a great card, but I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be one of these sleeper cards where nobody's expecting it to be good, and I think it's going to deliver. I think that there's going to be a ton of finishes. I think the DraftKings scores are going to be very high, and those nights are always fun. And honestly, I see probably all 5 of the fights on the main card finishing. The Munoz fight, the Menafield fight, the Rodriguez fight, the Agapova, and the Rodriguez. I think all 5 of them have potential to finish. So, yeah, honestly, I like the card. I like it. I think it's going to be fun. A lot of no names, but I still think it has a potential to deliver here. Just want to, we did that contest last week. Want to give a shout out to Jay. He won the DraftKings contest. Was not able to get as much people in there as I wanted. Limited that to the first 100 people. Did not expect it to fill that fast. So next month we'll up that a little bit, get more people in there, and that'll be for UFC 252. And by the way, that card is coming along good. It's looking like a great card. We're going to get right into it, though. We're going to get to the fight doesn't go to decision lines. Before we do that, if you guys can leave a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, would appreciate that a ton. Would love to get 6,000 subs by the NFL football season. If you guys are into NFL or NFL DFS, I'll be doing videos all year for that. NFL is a big sport of mine, so really looking forward to that. I've been digging into it a little bit this week, trying to finish my model up, for the start of the season. So, with that said, we're going to get into it. And we're going to go with the fight doesn't go to decision lines here. And I'm going to give you guys the top 5 here. And there's 7 or 8 fights that are favored to end inside the distance. So I do see this card being a card where, probably 70% of the fights finish. I can definitely see a scenario where that happens. I do see, there's some fights that are obviously going to go to decision, like probably the Selecki Hubbard, the Believe Jones first fight of the night probably goes to decision, and then the Lemos Mizuki fight probably goes to decision. But everything else I think has potential to finish. But the first thing up here, minus 425, Agapova Dobson fight doesn't go to decision. I'll be honest, I bet the under 1.5 rounds for this fight. I do think it finishes, and I think it's obviously Agapova. She's like a minus 1,300 favorite now. And this is a fight I'm going to target heavily, and that is mostly on the Agapova side. I'll tell you guys right now, I'm not going to be playing Dobson, maybe a lineup or two in the 150 max, but Agapova is my big lean, probably my favorite play on the slate. Rodriguez Prochnio, minus 300, fight doesn't go to decision. I think this fight finishes. I think it finishes, maybe in that first round. Rodriguez is someone who you can't really trust. I remember, last July, it was a big upset. He was like a minus 400 favorite, and he ended up getting beat by John Allen. And then I remember another time he was like a minus 230 favorite against someone else. So he's someone who really drops the ball. You can't trust this guy. Prochnio, I think, is a great underdog play. We'll get more into that in a little bit. But both these guys are in play. I do think it finishes. Villanueva Wright, minus 300. Fight doesn't go to decision. This is, one of the probably the ugliest fight on the card. Just like the Dawkins fight last week and the Dawkins fight. Dawkins went out there and he knocked him out. That was a fantastic knockout. I can see something happening along the lines here. Somebody getting a finish. Wright's been out of the first round once, and after he got into the second round, he got a finish in like the first minute. So, I see a finish happening here. We'll talk about it in a little bit. It's a pick'em right now for the odds, and so we're getting Wright as an underdog on DraftKings. So there's some value there, but it's a fight I want to play both sides. Menafield OSP minus 245. Fight doesn't go to decision. A lot of people think that it's Menafield early, OSP late. That could be, but we'll talk about in a little bit. I do like Menafield in this spot, but OSP, if Menafield does gas out, yeah, he's probably going to finish him. I just don't see that happening, but we'll talk about it more. Menafield's my lean here, but I will have some OSP. Grant and Bourne, minus 230. Grant's a big favorite. I think he's like minus 380 right now. Going against Bourne, not too impressed. Not impressed with his striking at all. I think Grant knocks him out fairly early. And I don't think Bourne really has the cardio to get into the later rounds. If Bourne wins, it's going to be in the first round. So for that reason, maybe he's in play as a kind of a punt. But my lean is Bourne. and going to have more. My lean is Grant, and going to have more Grant, but don't mind a couple shares on Bourne because I think he's live for that first round. All right, getting more into depth here with the core plays. Pedro Munoz 9,000, a play I really like here. I think he beats Frankie Edgar. I think whether it's by a finish or whether he takes some 5 rounds and wins a decision, I think he hits value either way. He's someone who has power, and Edgar is someone who is, I really question his durability at this point. He's 38 years old, coming down to weight class. It's not a great look. And Munoz, even in a decision, he can score well. He throws tons and tons of volume. Getting to the numbers a little bit, he averages 5.3 significant strikes per minute compared to Edgar's 3.6. It's just really hard to see Edgar winning this fight, and for that reason, a core play for me is Munoz. Alonzo Menafield, a play I really like, and 8,300 going against OSP. And I checked on Twitter, and Menafield looks like he's slimmed down a lot. And I saw an interview, and he said he's been working nonstop since that Clark fight, and he's been working on that cardio. I think it was great for him to get that first loss. Some fighters need that first loss to kind of a wake up call. Like, what do I need to work on? And I think he went back to the drawing board, worked on his cardio. He said it's not going to happen again. And he throws more than OSP. In the Clark fight, his takedown defense looked fantastic. He got taken down 1 time on 10 attempts. Fantastic takedown defense. OSP doesn't have anywhere near the wrestling as Clark. So I like Menafield quite a bit. I think Menafield knocks him out. And I know a lot of people are saying Menafield first round or bust, and I kind of disagree. I mean, OSP is someone who gasses out as well. And, coming down from heavyweight, 37 years old? And I kind of question his gas tank too. And, Menafield, we're going to see him on the scales, but he's looking good. He's looking good from what I see. So I like him at 8,300. Maria Agapova, 9,300. We all know the deal here. Minus 1,300 favorite. She should win this fight. It's just a matter of, does she win it early? And I tend to say yes. Or does she take it to a decision? Probably not. But even if she did, if she took this to a decision, she's going to score so many. Either way, I just don't see a scenario where she doesn't score, over 100 points here. Whether it's a first round finish, second round finish, third round finish, or a decision, I don't see how she doesn't hit value or doesn't score at least 100 points. So, I don't do this often, but I am borderline thinking about locking Agapova in all my lineups. And, it's like something I've done maybe once or twice. And I know it's not the best thing for MMA because anything can happen. I've seen minus 1,000 favorites lose before, Smith, Barber. It's so hard to see a path to victory for Dobson. Something really weird to have to happen. So Agapova, I'm going to be extremely high owned. It's going to be my highest owned fighter in some time. Like I said, debating a lock, but maybe at least 80%. I'll tell you guys that right now. At least 80%. Dwight Grant, 8,800. We're getting some value there. He's like almost a minus 400 favorite. I think he takes this fight. I think he takes it early. I just don't think that, Bourne has the gas tank to finish this fight. I've seen him get tired after that first round. And, Grant hits like a truck. And I do think he's the better striker by a decent margin. So, Grant, I think he wins it. I think he wins it by knockout. And definitely one of my core plays. I think he's the second? I think he's the second biggest favorite on the third biggest favorite on the card, behind Valiv and Agapova there. Getting into GPP plays here. Mike Rodriguez, 8,900. I mean, you can't trust this guy. Don't go all in on this guy, but he should win. He should knock out Prochnio. But would I be surprised if he got knocked out? Not at all. Not at all. I don't know. I mean, he's someone we definitely have to look at. Minus 300, fight doesn't go to decision. I do think he gets the knockout, but just don't go too much on him because there is the opportunity that, Prochnio's not a scrub. I mean, hasn't had too much. He's not much worse than Rodriguez. Like, Rodriguez is not good. He's not a great fighter. But I do think he's better, but not by much. He's very athletic. I think he probably has the power advantage, but his chin is definitely questionable. His fight IQ is for sure questionable, so it's not a play I want to target too much, but we definitely have to look at it. Joe Solecki, 8,400. I'm not too interested in this fight as a whole. I just don't really see it scoring high. I don't see it finishing. I see it going to a decision, and maybe Solecki's able to get multiple takedowns. I don't see him submitting Hubbard, But takedowns, they're worth 5 points. They do add up. Maybe he gets 5, 6 takedowns. But even then, I just don't see him finishing or even throwing much volume. So I don't know. Maybe he gets some advances. He's very good at advancing position. Very good at taking the back. I think it will be, a play that goes overlooked. I think he's going to be low owned for a couple reasons. It seems like everybody's on Hubbard. And I don't know. I think there's better plays, but he's someone we have to look at for that takedown upside, that grappling upside. Mizuki here, 8,600. It seems like whenever there's women's MMA and it's low owned, it seems like Fight Metric, doubles the significant strikes they throw. You know what I mean? Rosa, she had 60 significant strikes in the first round they counted, but it just seems like something weird's going on where they double the significant strikes, and I do think this is going to be a very high output fight. So 8,600, it's going to go overlooked for a couple reasons. A lot of people are on Lemos, and Mizuki, she didn't score overly, she didn't score well in her last fight that went to decision, but I think that Lemos is going to make her fight at a pace where she's going to throw a lot of significant strikes, and I am picking her to win. But we'll talk about it a little bit. But Lemos is going to be most dangerous in that first round. But if Lemos gasses out hard, Mizuki doesn't have a knockout on her record. Maybe she can get a submission. She has a 60% submission finish rate. But it's kind of a fight I want to target. It's one of those sneaky fights that I do want to target. I know it's women's MMA, but I do have a suspicion that this does score well. And by the way, Lemos I don't think has ever went to decision. I think in her, let's see here. In Lemos's 8 fights, she's won by a finish 7 times, and she lost by a knockout once to Leslie Smith. So she's never went the distance, man. So I think it's one of those sneaky fights to target. All right, Ike Villanueva, 8,200, sloppy, light heavyweight fight. I mean, we just saw him lose to Chase Sherman. Honestly, I'm not high on this dude. I don't think he's that good. Very slow. He's going to be at a speed disadvantage. But, man, it's a tough fight to call. It's a fight I want to target, a fight I want to play both ways. I don't love it, but I am going to be playing some Ike Villanueva. We did see where Jordan Wright was knocked out, fairly easy by Hernandez. But will Villanueva come out here and pressure Wright? I mean, personally, I don't think so. I think that's what he needs to do. I think if he did that, he has a chance of getting a knockout. But I don't know. It's something that you want to play, though. Both your line. It's like a Daugus fight. It's like the Daugus fight last week. You don't want to play it. It's an ugly fight, but it's going to score well on DraftKings. Live dogs, and I'll tell you guys right now, there's a ton of them this week. I think there's a lot of live dogs. It's one of those cards. Takashi Sato, 7,500. I'm picking Rodriguez to win, but I think Sato's getting really disrespected here. Rodriguez is like a minus 200 favorite, and Sato hits very hard. Rodriguez is very tough. He's never been finished, but there's a first for everything. So could Sato knock him out? He could. He really could. So I think Sato's a great value play at 7,500. Jordan Wright, 7,900. Not the best fighter in the world, but like I said, we got to target this fight. Someone's probably getting finished. Wright's been out of the first round once, and when he got into that second round, he finished his fight in the next 50 seconds. So not the best play in the world, but it's something we got to target. Matthew Simonsberger, 7,700. It's almost a pick 'em here, so we're getting some line value. I think he's going to be the more dangerous fighter. He hits hard. He's going to bring the fight. He's going to pressure. For that reason, I am picking him, and I think there is some value at 7,700. Is he able to get the finish? Maybe. If there is a finish, I think it's him getting the finish. So, I think there is some upside. One of the first fights of the night, second fight of the night. Nobody's going to play this guy. Maybe they play him because of the line movement, but nobody knows who Simonsberger is. But he's not an awful fighter. I think he's going to. I think that he's at a technical disadvantage. I think that Minus is a little more technical, a little more low output, but Simonsberger is going to throw the more volume, throw the harder shots. So for that reason, I think is a fine underdog play. OSP, personally, I think he gets knocked out, but if he's able to survive the early storm and Metafield wasn't able to improve that cardio, I think he's going to get a finish. I really do. I can almost guarantee that OSP is going to lose the first round. He's pretty low volume. Metafield does throw more strikes. But if Metafield does gas out like he did against Clark, OSP is going to finish him. So for that reason, I will have some OSP. I don't love it. I think Menefield knocks him out, but you got to play some there. Main Lemos 7,600. I like the price. I think it's a close fight. I think it's 50-50. Slightly leaning with Mizuki. But Lemos is a dangerous fighter. She's finished 100% of her fights by finish. She's never been to the scorecard. So for that reason, it's definitely an intriguing play on DraftKings. I think she's going to be very, very dangerous in that first round, and maybe she does finish Mizuki. I don't think Mizuki's ever been finished. I don't see Lemos submitting Mizuki. Maybe she catches her with something, but I don't know. I think it's something you want to have in some of your lineups there just because of that finish upside. Austin Hubbard, I mean, he's a live dog for sure. I think he's probably one of the most live dogs on this slide. It's just I don't see a path where he does score very well unless he's able to finish Selecki later in the rounds. I think there's a lot of recency bias going around with the Roscoff fight where Hubbard got a knockout, but we all know what happened with the Roscoff. Very tired. He came in on short notice. He posted on Twitter that he was dealing with an injury and wasn't able to train for 3 weeks. And then Hubbard was able to take advantage of that and get the finish. Props to Hubbard there. But, obviously Selecki's not going to, gas out after the first round. We've seen him go into the third round before. I like Selecki personally, but Hubbard's a fine play. I think he definitely has a chance to win. I think this fight is 50-50, and the line does indicate that. If he wins and he doesn't get a finish, I don't know. I think he's going to be on his back for some parts, especially in the first round. So how well is he really going to score? So this is something going to be lower owned on, but I mean, if you're looking for someone who has potential to win, Hubbard's a good play. All right, punt plays Frankie Edgar 7,200. I mean, if he wins, he's obviously going to break the slate. Just don't have too much confidence in it. Lots of question marks. 38 years old, coming down a weight class, but if he's able to, stick and move to the outside, get some takedowns, stay safe on the ground, maybe he can win a decision. It's just, he has he has a 7-inch reach advantage. I don't know. I will have some Edgar. I find it really hard to see him winning, but I mean, he's live. He is live, but I will have more Munoz. But maybe Edgar is able to come in here and win. I'll be very surprised at 38 years old. He hasn't been looking too well. If he does win a decision, or I don't see him finishing Munoz, but if he does win a decision, I'd be pretty surprised. But, I mean, he could do it. Sticking to the outside, using that reach. I mean, I don't know. But, I mean, he's a fine play. Marcin Prochnio, 7,300, touched on a little bit. We cannot trust Rodriguez. I think someone's getting finished early. And Rodriguez is a little bit on the chinny side. I know Prochnio is as well, but 7,300, I think he's live. I think he's very live. I think the line should be a lot closer. Don't think Rodriguez should be a minus 200 favorite against pretty much anybody. He's just so untrustworthy. So would I be surprised if he knocked out Rodriguez? Not at all. So this is a play I will have probably be overweight to the field on. As ugly as it sounds, like this dude isn't good, but it's kind of more of a fade on Rodriguez here, because you just can't trust him. You really can't. He's taken a 2-year layoff. I'm interested to see him on the scales, and of course we'll talk about it on the live stream on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But yeah, 7,300 for a fight that's going to end inside the distance. I don't hate that shot at all. All right, and then getting into the fades, I really only have one here. Shanna Dobson. I mean, not much to say here. I think that she's going to get finished here. I would be very, very surprised if she won this fight, man. I don't know. I don't know how she would do it. It would have to be some kind of fluke knockout or an injury happening to Agapova. But if you're getting finished by Priscilla Ketchabeating, it's really hard to see a path to victory to win this fight or even survive the first round. So, like I said, I like Agapova a lot. I'm not going to have too much room for Dobson. Maybe a couple lineups in the 150, but this is going to be my lowest owned fighter on the slate. All right, thanks for watching. Just want to remind you guys, you can always become a member of my Patreon and receive full access to my model with all the stats, premium projections, GPP lineup percentages, premium breakdown and strategy video, and my DraftKings article that gets posted either Friday night or Saturday. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't yet. Would love to get 6,000 subscribers before the NFL season. And don't forget to tune in Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, as always, going over the weigh-ins. It's a very important live stream. Especially the past couple weeks, we've been seeing guys on the scales like Herbert Burns, who's the dude Aspinall, the dude Aspinall fought. The dude that weighed in with his shirt on. Like, these weigh-ins have been very, very important. So tune into the show. Maybe we'll be able to find something with the weigh-ins. Like I said last week, it was Burns. That was a huge, huge red flag. Allowed me to lower my ownership on Burns, up the ownership on Pineda a little bit. But thank you guys for watching. It's gonna be a fun DraftKings slate. Not the best card in the world, but I think it's gonna be fun. And with that said, good luck, guys, and let's win some money.